My name is Caleb Tai, and I'm a music teacher. I was born in Kisii County in Kenya, but I have a disability in the sight, so I'm visually impaired. So as a profession, I'm a music teacher, teaching music in various schools, colleges, and sometimes some universities. I also teach instruments like piano, guitar, recorder, and I have a family in Kisii. My wife is called Ruth Mura, also from Kisii, and 4 children, 2 daughters and 2 sons. And right now they are finishing their colleges, so they are not so small. In music, I do also as part-time teach music in the church, in church music seminars, and so on. And I wish also in the future to write books about music. About music, I was born in a musical family because we used to sing at home. Before I went to nursery school, my elder sisters and my mother and the father used to sing various songs, story songs when they were telling stories, and church songs. And so I was very interested in hearing those songs until we made a family small choir, which we were singing in the church. And the church was so excited when they were hearing us because they were saying we were singing very well. And that encouraged me. So when I went to school, I went to a special school in Kisumu for the blind. I found that they had instruments, and as the teachers were playing the instruments, there were no music lessons, but I was just interested to watch them, how they were playing, and get interested. So when they have gone and we are free, I could go to the piano or to the accordion, to the concertina, and try it myself because there were no lessons, and also guitars, until I could make some tunes on the piano or some tunes on the accordion by myself. And there was an interesting occasion that in my home church, we were not allowed to play the guitar. It was termed like a secular instrument. So when I found the guitar at the school where I was just keeping a distance from playing the guitar. But when my friends were playing the guitar and the strings were cut or were broken, I could just offer, because I had interest in technical aspects, to repair the guitar for them, and until finally I could even learn how to tune the guitar and how to play some chords on the guitar by accident. When I changed the school and went to the coast, I found the branch of my church were accepting the guitar. And they wondered, so our home church did not accept the guitar, but here the same church is accepting the guitar. I volunteered and said, I know how to play the guitar, and started playing in the church accompaniment. So that when I went back home, I influenced my home church to accept the guitar because I had seen it elsewhere. So I got so interested. By the time I reached the secondary education, I asked the primary school to give me a gift. When they asked me, what gift would you want for performing so well in your primary education? Said, give me a guitar. And I got my own guitar when I went to secondary education. So in the secondary education now, music was taught formally in class. So I had some formal lessons in music in Braille, but I was so interested that I asked the teacher to ask for a sponsorship at the Kenya Conservatoire of Music to do the ABRSM international exam for piano, which I did for 4 years, from 1, 2, 3, 4. And that forced me to start reading print music. It was not taught in class because we were taught Braille music. So I taught myself to read print music so that I can read the pieces for the royal examination. So by the time I reached Form 4, I had done the 4 grades of Form 4. I changed the school to Alliance High School, which was just a public ordinary school, was not special. So I had the little knowledge I had in print music helped me to go through the higher education at Alliance High School to do music until I joined the university now to do music. It was very challenging for me to learn print music because of my disability in sight. But I had that passion inside me that I wanted to pursue music, and there were not enough Braille material for music. There were no piano pieces, there were no any music pieces in Braille. So what I used to do is I could get the print music like a piano piece. Because I couldn't sight read from a distance, I could just put the book very close to my eyes, read the notes, memorize the notes, try them on the piano, and then after I've memorized, I put the booklet aside and then I play. To practice like that, until I could master the pieces. It was quite challenging to read, but I had the passion, so I kept on just reading and memorizing. I can remember even the pieces I did in grade 1 because I did it from memory, most of it. Grade 2, grade 3, a few of it I can remember how they were sounding. I went to Kenyatta University to do education, and my teaching subjects was music and religious studies, but I dropped the religious studies after 1 year because there was that offer that if you wanted to do more units in music, you drop the other teaching subjects. So I dropped the religious studies and concentrated on music. I was added more units in music, like ethnomusicology, practicals, and composition, which all the others people who were just taking music as a second subject and were not taking all the units. So I dropped the religious studies so that I can concentrate on music as a major subject. And it was not so hard because I had finished my grade 6 piano at the Conservatoire of Music. So I found that I was above the university criteria of practical, because the university were taking about grade 4, grade 3 practical. So most of my other colleagues had not gone to such a practical extent, but we learned, and I managed to get honors in my degree, among the best in that music class. So I continued the master's class in the same university by their sponsorship. And in that master's music class, I majored in composition as my main interest. And the main problem was still on how to write, because I had gone through the Braille system for the blind, but I wanted to fit in the ordinary world. So writing was a problem, and I had the passion of later using technology like software and so on to come up with the with good writing, because I had a challenge in writing quickly because of my sight disability. So when I finished my university education, I started teaching, and the students were very excited, were very motivated, because I could demonstrate to them practically. I could even go outside the syllabus and try to teach them composition, arrangement of African tunes in using modern harmony, and so on. What I can remember, when I started, the music technology was very, very rare. But I had a vision that maybe later I will use some technology. I remember one time I ordered a software called Freestyle from US. It came, it was using the Mac. Nobody had a Mac. Where I was teaching in the Kisii campus, they had a Macintosh, but it was just stored somewhere. Nobody was able to operate it or put it on. So my software just rotted in a shelf like that. Until when I bought a Yamaha keyboard, which I could sequence, although it is not a software, but I could sequence in that Yamaha keyboard one chord at a time, or notes at a time, using the Yamaha sequencer, and I could now program very complicated music using not a software, but a technology like the Yamaha sequencer in the keyboard. That is briefly on how I started. I didn't learn the classical guitar. I learned just the pop guitar, because most of the lessons I just taught myself. The chords. So usually I use the guitar playing while accompanying myself singing, or in a guitar band of 3 guitars. When we have in a group, I play like the rhythm, and another playing the bass, and another one playing the lead guitar. So I can sing just a song and accompany myself with chords. God looked down upon the earth many years ago. He saw the awful sin of man about to overflow. Only Noah was righteous. Only Noah walked with God. Only Noah believed him when he said there'll be a flood. God told Noah to build an ark, build it deep and wide. Round up all the animals and put them all inside. Then get in with all your folks, and I will close the door. And in the morning, this world will be no more. Are you in the ark, or are you outside? Oh, don't hesitate, you be too late. The door's open wide. Are you in the ark, or are you outside? Oh, don't hesitate, you be too late. The door's open wide. People stood outside the ark, just like they do today. They all fell down and laughing. at Noah's funny way. Noah is building himself an ark and he's sailing in dry ground. Meanwhile, up above them, the sky began to frown. Are you in the ark or are you outside? Oh, don't hesitate, you'll be too late. The doors open wide. Are you in the ark or are you outside? Oh, don't hesitate, you'll be too late. The doors open wide. Now Jesus is God's ark today, and in him you must hide. His sides were open wide for you and me at Calvary. If you are in him and he in you, then you'll be lifted high. When he comes to judge the world, this time with flaming fire. Are you in the ark or are you outside? Oh, don't hesitate, you'll be too late. The doors open wide. Are you in the ark or are you outside? Oh, don't hesitate, you'll be too late. The door is open wide. Music is a very interesting career, but there's a problem that when I was in primary school, I was restricted and, as a Christian, because I was from a Christian family, not to touch the guitar. Later to discover that even guitars were used in the church when I did my own research and when I transferred to other places. So there are others who go to extremes of telling their children, I don't want you to do music where is the employment, or it will make you go and play in secular bands and such like discouragement. Others will just discourage their children that I want you to do a very prestigious career like medicine and law and not music. But with my case, since I was in a boarding school where my parents were very far, I had a choice of choosing music as I wanted, without too much interference from the parents, and I went the farthest I could go. I had lessons, I studied music, I read into the details. But the parents who discourage their children to pursue music are doing a harm, because it's a passion inside the person. And when you tell somebody that I don't want to do this, and it's not in him, he'll just study what you have told him for the sake, but he will not perfect it, or he will not be willing to pursue it as a passion, or for example, if you tell somebody to do medicine, he will just study medicine, and you will find he's working under stress. He doesn't enjoy, and when you don't enjoy in your life becomes very short, because the stress will contribute to getting complications, health complications, and so on. So one of the benefits of doing music is that your health, your mental and physical health becomes very good. Your life becomes very good because you are satisfied what you wanted in life. And music is also paying. If somebody, for example, I'm a teacher, I'm paid like any other teacher who's teaching mathematics, who's teaching history or any other. It doesn't mean that if you do music, you'll be paid less. If you are a talented musician and you perform somewhere, or an athlete run somewhere and get a trophy. The music people also get a trophy and get a lot of money out of their talents. So music, you can make money out of it, you can make a living, but the good thing is that it is very satisfying, and the people listening to you, even the family and friends, they extend their lives to become good. Imagine if this world, even those who tell the children not to do music, they themselves sing in the church, they themselves watch music in their TV and enjoy, but they say, my child should not do music, while they are enjoying other children performing over the TV and radio. So, with good guidance and good company, what I can advise is that you just take your child to a good music academy where the child will not be perverted his character. For example, me, I was at the Kenya Conservatoire of Music, which is a very professional place. And I have taught in a school, a music academy like Kigame Music Academy in Eldoret, where the integrity is very high. A child taking music there will not be diverted to any other thing, will just pursue music per se, and you come home with the talent and nothing else which will be negative. I told you that I was from a music family. My father was a traditional lyre player, and a traditional lyre player in Kisii community is learned from son to the father to son. So when we were born, there were no instrument in our home, but we had stories that my father used to play obokano, and when he went to work to the colonies, he learned how to play the accordion. But the accordion, since it was being played in the Kikuyu folk dances, it was also discouraged in the church. Now, but when I went through my education, I learned now the modern instruments like guitar, piano, and so on. And when I came now as a teacher, I bought a small Yamaha keyboard from my first salary. In fact, I bought my Yamaha keyboard not in salary, in the stipend we used to be given at the university. I just said, no, I can't just enjoy myself. I have to buy an instrument. I bought a piano they were not there in the shops. So I bought from my lecturer who had gone to Germany and bought a keyboard there and came. So he sold it to me. So when I was working, people around the whole province, like Nyanza and Western, and from some Rift Valley region, had at least someone having a keyboard in Kisii campus who can make an accompaniment for your set pieces in exam, for your set pieces in the Kenya Music Festival. And people used to ask, where is that man in Kisii College? I could abruptly get visitors saying, I'm from Kericho, I'm from Maseno, I want you to make a recording for me, an accompaniment for my piece, because there is no pianist around. So I could say after school lessons, I go to my house with the guest, I read the music, I memorize it, play the keyboard while I'm recording. I started now being said to record. I bought a small cassette recorder and connected by myself. And while I'm playing the keyboard, I'm recording and I give the guests to go and perform. And they used to come and thank you. I think we managed we were through in the music festival. We got a trophy through that accompaniment. So I started being interested to record. I transferred from Kisii campus. I went to teach at Kagumo in a diploma music college. And I said now I should buy a real recording machine. So I saved some money and I bought my first multi-track recording machine using a cassette that time. But using a cassette was divided into 4 tracks, so I could record. There were even some studios in Nairobi having that small, and it was the cheapest recording equipment I bought for myself. I remember I recorded one of my students called Masai, a song, and it hitted all over the country using that small 4-track machine. And Masai is singing up to now. His songs are heard over the radio, but the song I recorded him is still the best song among his songs which I recorded. So I said, so I can become a sound engineer. So I saved more money and I bought now a digital. My first digital recording machine was the Alesis multi-track. It was 8-track using a digital tape. And so I went back to Kisii and started a studio there. And my children at that time were just in school, but they were seeing what I was doing. My wife learned by herself how to record and helped me because I was doing recording as my part-time job while I was going to teaching. So during the day, my wife was recording the choirs. Choirs came from Kenya, from Tanzania. Some big choirs like the Mwanza Christian choir came and recorded in my studio. And the music was quite fine. So when my first-born child finished school, said even me I wanted to take I want to take this music engineering. My son is called Joseph. He went and learned sound and video engineering, and now he's doing the music technology recording. My other son did not take music per se because he just went and did software, general software. Then my 2 daughters did music in their Form 4 exams. My first daughter is called Priska, passed music very well, but did not continue with it in the college. I went for to do nursing, but she can still sing very well. Last born daughter did music in Form 4. She even told me, Daddy, you have to buy me a guitar for my practical. And did guitar as practical. She's called Rhoda. She even has come to Kigame Music School one time. In my career as a music teacher, there are so many people who have got inspiration from my teaching, and some casually, not a direct formal student, but some were as formal students. For example, when I was teaching at Kisii campus, there's a student there called Wanyama, who's now a professor. Professor Wanyama, who was teaching at Moi University, now is at Kabarak University, was in Kisii campus when I was a lecturer there. And when I played the piano, in fact the keyboard, an African arrangement, it inspired him until he said, I have to pursue music. Through that inspiration, he went and pursued music to higher levels until now he's a professor. Another person I can mention, students I taught at Kagumo Teachers College are still taking music to a very high level. For example, there's a teacher at Thika School for the Blind who has learned even Braille music, and she was not learning Braille in Kagumo, but she saw me reading Braille music, and now she has also learned Braille music. She's teaching blind students at Thika. There are some people who, just by visiting me or working with me in other forums, have picked some musical talent from me. For example, I employed somebody to just be a guide and read for me. And as he was reading, he could ask me question, what does this mean? What does this mean? And I could teach him casually until he was employed to teach in a private school somewhere. There's a student called Onyancha, who I taught at Kisi High School, and now he's a teacher in Shansu Teachers College, a music teacher, a lecturer. So I can mention very many because I have been a music teacher for quite a while, many years, and most of the students who have come to do music with me have succeeded a lot, because I go to quite a detail. When a student asks me questions, why do this? I don't just concentrate on what the syllabus says. I can just go even ahead and help him to how he can use music as a person after finishing the course. Thank you so much for the opportunity of talking to you, and I think whenever we meet again, I'll be glad to continue sharing much experiences I've had in the field of music. Thank you very much.